what are some signs, maybe first and foremost, what are some signs that maybe you're imbalanced or you have these wounded energies showing up? What are some common things that you see in people that maybe they're not even aware of that it's wounded energy?
Yeah. So I think it is very common. So we work with a lot of clients that's especially for it doesn't matter men and women, a lot of that feeling unworthiness, feeling not good enough. It is very, very common.
Mm,
And I think in a way that is that wounded feminine energy where there's a lot of doubts, a lot of self-doubt, a
mhm,
lot of feeling like I'm not worthy of my desire. I can't reach my goal. It comes up like, let's say, if someone's being rejected in business, let's say they send a business proposal, well, then they reach out to a potential clients or a potential retail shops, and they get rejected and they just feel like, and they make that rejection into, I'm not feeling worthy, I'm not good enough, and that is a wounded feminine energy. In that way, that we need to heal that part
mm,
of us with a lot of compassion, empathy, a lot of healing through the trauma, ideally through the body, because we know 80% of it is in the parts of the body, and to work through them, yeah, to heal those wounded parts of the feminine energy, yeah, because it's so common, and I think it also shows up in my business at the start, as I've always struggled with that feeling not good enough, and especially I think it's such a common it's a conditioning that I believe a lot of us have from schools, from parents, from society, from family, because the whole system is always making you like you're not there yet, or
mm,
because the competition is often making you feel like you're never going to get there, and that conditioning becomes so ingrained that when we first start our business, like all rejections, like when we were trying to get our product, our breathing necklace into the shops, like the spas, the clinics, there was a not lot of no's. And it's
mm,
actually a very common thing in business, like 100 business will say no to stock your products. And yeah, and it becomes harder to go out and just ask and introduce your
mm,
your business. And one way that I did overcome through it was through like the nervous system reset. So that, going through a lot of different, tools to move your eyes, to move your spine, to move your body, you use your breath. That really helps to release those very ingrained conditioning. And eventually, like we had a breakthrough. So we had a breakthrough. We get like a $10,000 order, just from one shop, and it was like, oh wow! And it
wow,
was just, in just 2 weeks time, and that
mm,
was like, oh, okay, yeah, someone's like our product, okay,
mm,
yeah, and then it gives me and it gives us the confidence to keep going. But at the same time, it's like, this is such a common problem. Like a lot of business face, like, you
mm,
get rejected 100, 1,000, but you just need a few yeses,
mm,
then you take your project or your business off the ground. Yeah. And
mm,
because of that conditioning, that really actually can stop a lot of people from trying to even
yeah,
to go out, to even to, talk about their product, talk about their service, talk about their programs. Yeah, and then it stops them, and they, of course, if they don't ever go out again and, speak about their businesses, of course, they're not going to get any clients or any yeses. So, if you see a lot of successful entrepreneurs, the more successful they are, the more rejections that they
mm,
have. Yeah. It looks like they have no rejections, but
mm,
actually behind them, the thousands out thousands of rejections. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
I love that you share that because I think that's something that's not spoken about enough. And particularly with, now with social media and this whole Instagram culture, what I find, and I've caught myself doing this so much, particularly in the beginning, is like comparing myself to other people and other people's businesses and, oh, who am I to do this? Or they're just like they have something that I don't, because obviously their business is perfect and they're getting all these clients and blah, blah, blah. And we make up these stories and we have no idea what that person or that business has been through from that, from their perspective. Like you're saying, how people might look at you today and be like, oh, it's easy for her. Like, and you're saying that you've had like 100 people say no in the beginning, and that takes a lot of resilience to keep coming back after receiving those no's. Like I get it, and I don't think people truly get it until they put themselves out there to receive the rejection. It's easy kind of to look from the sidelines, and I think Brene Brown speaks about this a lot. Like, unless you're on, I could be butchering this, I'm not great with quotes, but she says something like, unless you're on the battlefield, like don't offer your opinions, because you just don't know until you're in it, like how kind of fragile it feels. And particularly when it's your business, it's like your baby. It's like, I find like, it's, I'm so protective over it in a way. And you do tend to personalize things, right? When you receive a rejection. And one thing I've really had to learn to do is really stop personalizing things and recognize that it's a normal thing with business, and not everyone's going to like you, and not everyone's going to want to receive your product or service. And that's actually okay. And understanding that that doesn't take anything away from my worth, and that it's still a valuable product, or what I have to offer is still valuable. And it's not just the business journey that you're on, it's actually like a psychological journey, it's a spiritual journey, it's everything. And I feel like until you're in it, you don't even fully recognize it. But I love that you're bringing in just how much resilience it takes. And to anyone who's listening to this conversation, who's like on that journey, that like to not give up, to not just say, oh, it's not for me, or I can't do this, or I've received so many no's, maybe it's not the path. Like, I don't believe anything in our hearts is there by accident. And yeah, I just want to emphasize, like really just like get people to hear what you're saying, that like don't take a no as it's the end, like it's a failure. Because like you're saying, the people up the top, they've probably had the most failures, quote unquote, more than anyone. They've received the most no's. And the difference between them and someone who's not, running this big business is because they didn't take no as the answer. They just kept going. So thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah, so one thing I want to say about no, like in a lot of spiritual practice that we do, which I oftentimes find that the no is just a redirection. So I always tell my clients like a no is a redirection to something that is meant for you. And also you don't want
Mm,
to be attracting the wrong clients. Like,
yes.
at the start of my business, like we were like, oh, we're gonna go into the supermarket, or we're gonna put this product in onto the shelf and here and there because that's the place to be, trying to be some other brands or trying to be someone else. But then again, if you think of our product, because we have this breathing necklace, the tools, which is somewhat kind of like a spiritual, but also it's for anxiety relief. So if you think about something like that in the supermarket, you actually think it's
Mm,
actually not really aligned. And I had to have someone, like multiple people, point it out to me and be like, Claire, it's a weird place to put your product in the supermarket like that. Like, yeah, I still think about it sometimes, but I'm just thinking
mm,
about, oh, if I can put this next to the makeup, maybe I will fit in. Oftentimes I'm thinking
mm,
I will fit in. I'm trying to fit
mm,
myself in, fit the product into the shop or into a place where it's not the right fit. And it's like in a nutshell, it's like they're saying no to like to help you in the way that we've
mm,
got a lot of rejections from all these big markets and supermarkets, and I was like feeling a bit a bit down, a bit feeling not great. But it's like at the same time, they're helping you as well. They're saying no to you
mm,
because they know, oh, maybe our clients won't receive or won't understand this kind of product in the supermarket. They're here to buy their grocery, to buy their essentials, and they're not that spiritual. Or they maybe don't understand breath work or breathing
mm,
exercise going to help them with their mental health. So unless, they've evolved to a place where, oh, our clients are looking for this kind of product. So in a way that they're helping us as well, because
Mm,
if they put our product in, and if it doesn't, if it doesn't sell, then it becomes an issue. They have to discount, or they have to do something to return the products, whatever. So in a way that they're helping us as well
mm,
to find things that are aligned in the shop with their customers. So
mm,
it's always important to understand, like, it's all about finding the crowd, the starving crowd that
mm,
needs your product, or needs your service, or needs your programs. Like, you gotta be attracting the right customers, be in the right place to sell. And sometimes it just takes a bit of try and error to know, like, where your product, where your program, where your service fit, like where it sits. And yeah, really be in front of the right audience. It's important. Mm.
mm. Yeah, and I definitely think, yeah, like there's so much information in the know, and it's a journey. I think when you start out, like for myself, I remember like, yeah, I would look what other people are doing, or, try and fit in, like you're saying, to that market. And I think the more you walk the path and the more you come into yourself and you kind of step more into your sovereignty, and tuning in again to your intuition and your body's wisdom, you really start listening to that inner voice, and you start just trusting that maybe you don't need to fit in. Maybe you're actually here to create something new, like, and finding that market which is just specifically for you, with the people that are like yearning to have the product or the information that you have to offer, and it doesn't look like everyone else's. So I think, yes, there is so much information in the know, and I love how you say it's just a redirection. It's a redirection from the universe guiding you to your path. But yeah, please don't give up if you're receiving any setbacks.